Hello everyone, in this tutorial I'm going to show you how to create a stealth kill system in Unreal Engine 5. But before we start, please like this video and subscribe my channel for more Unreal Engine tutorials. Thank you. Alright, for this tutorial I'm going to use these two animation assets. First one is this stealth kill animation. And here in asset details I search for root motion and I set it to true. Now save and close it. And the other animation that I'm going to use is this stealth kill victim, and here I set root motion enabled for this animation asset too. Now I select both of these animations. I right click and I create anim montages from these animation assets. Now I open up this stealth kill victim anim montage, and here in this section blend out I set blend time to 0, and I also search for auto blend out and set this to false. Now I save and close this animation montage. Alright, now I go back to my third person folder, and here I create a new blueprint interface. I right click and from blueprint section I create a new blueprint interface and I name it BPI underscore stealth. Now I open it up, and here by default I have a new function and I name it a stealth kill. And now I hit this add icon and I create another function and I name it can be a stealth kill. And for this second function I create a new output in type of boolean and I name it a stealth kill. Now I compile and I save and close this blueprint interface. Now I select my character blueprint, which in this case it is BP underscore third person character, and I create a duplicate by Ctrl and D and I name it BP underscore enemy. And now I open it up, and here in this section class settings in interfaces I implement the interface blueprint that I just created to this enemy character blueprint. Here I search for BPI underscore stealth, compile and close it, and I do the same for my character blueprint. Now inside my third person character blueprint I create a new function and I name it initiate a stealth kill. Alright, and now from here I drag a node and search for a sphere trace for objects. This one. And for a start input, here I right click and search for get actor location. And I connect it to here, and for the end, here I right click and search for get actor rotation. And from here I drag a node and search for get forward vector. Alright, and here I drag a node and I add a multiply, and I right click and convert it to a float and I multiply it by 100, and here I drag a node and add this add vector node, and I connect this one to here and here to here, and I connect this one to end. And for radius I set it to 20, and for object type I drag a node and search for make array, and I set it to pound because I want this SVG trace to detect pound objects. And for actors to ignore, again I drag a node and search for make array, and here I get a reference to self. Alright, and now from this out hit output I drag a node and search for brick hit result, and from this return value I drag a node and add this branch node. And now I expand this hit result, and from hit actor I drag a node and I promote it to a local variable, and I name it L hit actor, and I connect true part of this branch node to here. And from here I drag a node and search for can be a stealth killed message. Connect this one to here, and from this output I drag a node and I add a branch node. And now here I need to make a function to move my character to the correct position for performing a stealth kill. So now I compile and I go back to event graph, and here I find some free space, and here I right click and create a new custom event, and I name it move to target. Now here I add a new input to this event, and I name it actor, and for input type I search for actor object reference. Okay, and now from here I drag a node and search for move component to, and for this component input I connect my capsule component. I drag and drop it here and connect it to here, because my mesh and some of other components are child of this component and they are attached to it. And for target relative rotation I drag a node from this actor input and search for get actor rotation, and I connect it to here. And now I need to do some calculations for target relative location. So first from this actor input I drag a node and search for get actor location. Alright, and again I drag another node and search for get actor forward vector. And now from here I drag a node and add a multiply node and convert this to a float, and I also promote it to a variable and I name it forward distance. Now I compile and set default value of this float to 70. And now from here I drag a node and add a subtract and connect this one to here. And now again from this actor input I drag a node and search for get actor right vector. And here I add a multiply node, convert it to a float, and here I promote it to a variable and I name it write distance. And here from this subtract node again, I add another subtract and connect this one to here, and I connect this one to target relative location. Okay, now I compile and I go back to initiate stealth kill function, and now from this branch node from true part, I drag a node and add another branch node, and now here I'm going to make sure that my character isn't playing any montages at the moment. So here I get my mesh and search for get anim instance, and from here I drag a node and search for is any montage playing, and connect this return value to here. And now from false part of this branch node, I drag a node and search for move to target message. And for this input, I get my local hit actor local variable to here. And from here, I drag a node and search for play anim montage. And here I assign my stealth kill player montage. Okay, now I minimize my character blueprint and I open up my enemy blueprint, and here in the interfaces section I open up this can be stealth kill function from my stealth kill blueprint interface, and here I make sure that this output is set to true. And now I go over to this stealth kill event function from my stealth kill blueprint interface, and first here I get my character movement component and I drag a node and search for disable movement, and I connect it to here, and here I search for play anim montage. And for this input anim montage, I select this stealth kill victim montage. Okay, now I compile and I go back to my character blueprint. And here from this local hit actor, I drag a node and search for a stealth kill message and connect it to here. Alright, and now here I drag a node and add a return node, and I also add an output to this return node. I set output type to boolean and I name it stealth killed. Alright, and here I set it to true, and now I copy of this with Ctrl and C and I paste it here. I connect this to here, and this time I set it to false, and I also paste this here and connect it to false part of this branch node, and I also here set it to false, and I also do the same for here. Alright, now I compile and minimize this character blueprint, and now I'm going to first create a an input for my character to perform this stealth kill. So here I open up project settings, and from input section here I add a new action mapping and I name it a stealth kill. Kill only. Okay, and here I bind this leftmost button to this input. Now I go back to my character blueprint inside event graph, and here I right click and I search for kill input. Okay, and now I drag and drop my initiate a stealth kill here, and I connect this pressed to here. Okay, now I compile, and here I place my enemy blueprint inside my level and I run the game. And as you can see, if I get close to this enemy and press leftmost button, this stealth kill will be performed. But there is still one problem with this system, and that is when I approach my enemy, for example from front side, and try to perform this stealth kill, it will be automatically moved to behind of my character. But I want this stealth kill to be done only when my character is placed exactly behind my enemy. So in order to do this, first I open up my character blueprint, and here I create a new variable in type of boolean and I name it can do a stealth kill. Okay, and now I compile and set default value of this variable to false, and now I go to my enemy blueprint. Here inside viewport and component section, I hit this add icon and search for box collision, and I add a new box collision to my enemy blueprint and I place it exactly right here behind my character mesh, and I scale it up in Z axis and a little scale down in Y axis. Okay, and now while this box collision component is selected, here I search for on component begin overlap. Okay, and now here from other actor I drag a node and cast to third person character. And now from here I drag a node and search for set can do a stealth kill, and here I set it to true, and now again I select my box collision and here I search for on component end overlap, and I just copy these nodes and paste them here, connect this one to here and this one to here, and this time I set this boolean to false. And just for testing purposes, here inside my character blueprint, here I drag and I right click and search for event tick. Okay, and from here I add a print string node and I connect can do a stealth kill boolean to here. And now from here, after this kill input, here first I get my can do a stealth kill boolean, and from here I drag a node and add a branch node, and now connect this one to here and this true part to here. So now my character only can perform a stealth kill when this boolean variable is true, and this boolean variable becomes true only when my character overlaps this box behind my enemy. Okay, so now I compile and run the game, and as you can see, by default this variable is false, and if I get to behind my character it will become true, and if I again leave this area behind my character it will be turned to false. And now if I stand here in front of my enemy, I cannot perform this stealth kill. But if I stand here behind my character, I can perform this stealth kill. Alright, if this tutorial was useful for you, please like this video and subscribe my channel. Thank you.